Welcome, everyone. The records are now open. This is your 6-5 episode of Akashic Answers with Emily. Please say hello to me once you get here. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And I want to invite you all to begin to see everyone who's sharing where we're tuning in from, see these pinpoints of light. Imagine them on our globe, on our earth, illuminating and connecting. When we connect to each other in this way, we are triggering a piece of technology that surrounds our planet. It is known in some circles as the Christed consciousness grid. It is the shape of a dodecahedron. And when we tap into this, we can share consciousness intelligence instantaneously. Joe Walsh, I see you here from South Carolina. Hello, I'm glad you're here. Puerto Rico in the house. Hi, love. Oh, okay, let's sound it out, Emily. Don't get too nervous. Nalise. See, it wasn't that bad. Love Nalise. Wasn't that bad. I'm glad you're here. Melissa, so happy to see you. Gloria, I see you too. Welcome, everyone. So we're going to jam together in the Akashic Records for the next 30 minutes or so. Here is what to expect. First thing is to recognize that your higher self has invited you into this sacred classroom, this conversation today. My goal, my intention is to help you think differently, to inspire you to think differently. The reason that you are stuck in any area of your life that you are stuck in is because you have repetitive thought forms that are not tapping into highest potentiality. So my job is to inspire you to think differently. How I do it, how I think differently, is I tap into the Akashic Records, superconscious intelligence. Hi, Lynn Marie and Samara. I see you all here. I guess it's my turn to introduce myself. I'm Emily Harrison, founder, director here inside the Akashic Academy. And my area of expertise is in the Akashic Records, which is the realm of consciousness that holds all information, past, present, all possible futures. This realm of consciousness is also known as superconscious intelligence, the mind of God. For those of you seekers and metaphysicians out there who have studied the 7 Hermetic principles, you know that thoughts are the original energetic form, the most fundamental form that creates our reality. Everything that we experience starts as a thought. So if we can inspire ourselves to think new thoughts, to think about our problems, our challenges differently, to think about who we are, to think about what we can contribute here on the planet differently, that's when life starts to change. What if you had the ability to tap into God mind, to think about your problems differently? What if you had the ability to tap into God mind, superconscious intelligence, to tap into creative genius and see what is unseen? Well, the good news is that you do. That's what the Akashic Records are. It's this access point that as more and more of you are doing the work, the evolutionary work, taking responsibility for yourself and what you have created. We know we create everything with all these thoughts we're having. We're creating everything that we're experiencing. And so when we do the work to start taking responsibility for what we're creating and create differently, we raise our vibrational frequency. We begin to learn lessons, right? We begin to shift our thoughts. We begin to shift our behavior. We begin to soften in a lot of ways. We become more compassionate. We also become stronger in ways. We learn to speak our voice and speak our truth. We begin to see areas where we've shied away from speaking our truth or going on a quest to truly know ourselves. We begin to see how we've been programmed, right? So when you can tap into superconscious intelligence, it makes the process of enlightenment a whole lot easier because you're going to see what is unseen. You're going to see what has been stumping you, what has been keeping you playing small or in vibrational frequencies of oppression, timelines of oppression, where you're not experiencing your greatest good. It's your time to get out of that. And the Akashic Records is the tool that I recommend using because you have access to all intelligence. You can ask any question you want and instantly get the information. And it helps you see and understand life differently so that you can make different choices. We're going to practice today. Okay? So for those of you who do feel stuck in areas of your life, this can look like stuck financially, stuck in relationships. Fire up my chat box with your questions. Even if I don't answer your question specifically today, just you asking is calling forward the intelligence in your life. So I want you to be on the lookout for the wisdom, the key codes that drop in for you, the aha moments. That's the key codes I'm talking about. When you have a perspective shift and you see differently, it changes your vibration, opens up new possibility. Okay. You might also be stuck in areas of your health or have created dis-ease in your life. This is another thing that the Akashic Records help us do, is they help us figure out how to turn on this self-healing mechanism. It's a little bit different for everybody, but what's the same is that we all have it and we all get to learn how to use it. So if you have questions about your health, fire up the chat box with questions about health. I also want to share with you another really cool way to use the Akashic Records is tapping into higher levels of creative genius. Many of you have legacy projects that you're working on. So if you have questions about the legacy project or direction to go in your life, maybe you're at a crossroads and there's an invitation, you're not fully in alignment with your career. How do you know? Because you don't love it. If you don't love some aspect of your life, you are not in full alignment with what your highest potentiality is. Okay? All right, so we're going to rock and roll in the records today. Like I've said many times, light up the chat box with your questions. I'm going to answer as many of them as I can today. If you have a question on your heart and you're just not asking it, pay attention to the channeling that comes through. What I find is that there will be messages for everyone, even if you didn't ask the specific question, that will help. Again, my intention is the next piece of intelligence that you need gets to drop in for you today. The next piece that helps you think differently. Okay, let me see. All right, we talked about, I want us to all be on the same playing field too. If you're new to the Akashic Records, that's cool. I remembered something else that I wanted to say about the Akashic Records. I find that the Akashic Records, there's a high level of prestige, and esteem that goes along with the Akashic Records. Yes, we all have the ability, the potentiality to use the Akashic Records. However, the Akashic Records will not appear in your awareness until you're ready for it. So I want you just to congratulate yourself for being in this space. Like I said, more and more of us are doing the work and we're raising our vibrational frequency where we have access to this space. Okay, my job is just to teach you how to use it to its highest ability once you arrive here. So we're going to practice and play. All right. The records only give you the information that you are ready to receive, which is why I've encouraged you to ask questions. If you ask, you're ready for the answer. All right. And you guys are asking, so we're going to get fired up here and start playing. Lynn said, shared with my Care Bears. Thank you very much, Lynn. Please share out if you're a regular here and you know it's going to be good, share out. If this is the first time you're here, go ahead and hang out for the show and then see if you like it and then share. Only share if you like it. But it is an incredibly powerful time to fuel the rise and the wake up, because the more of us that wake up and we begin to change our thoughts and we tap into aspects that can guide us through self-leadership, the faster we evolve the entire planet. All right. Samara says, please let me know how many layers deep can we go into the Akashic Record? I heard that there are more than 7 layers. Great question. So let me just tap in here and see what the guides want to bring through. Yeah, the guides want to bring the conversation from the construct of this esoteric, like how the library is constructed and how the quantum field and the dimensional layers of reality and non-reality are constructed, and they want to bring this down to a very 3D, microcosmic, everyday conversation, a conversation that a 3rd grader can make sense of. All right. So we are going to talk about vibrational frequency. here's the deal with the Akashic Records. Because they will open up access to all intelligence for you. Literally, they hold every piece of data, past, present, all possible futures, recorded from a neutral perspective. Neutral means unconditional love and zero judgment. It's true neutrality. Okay? Information can be weaponized. It can be very dangerous. That's also why there's a high level of prestige and esteem. You got to do a certain amount of work before you get to the space where you even experience the revelation of the Akashic Records, right? You guys with me? Type yes if you're with me, if you recognize how powerful this realm is and how it can potentially be weaponized. It's what we did during the times of Atlantis and Lemuria. You can see similar storylines now with how close we are to blowing our damn selves up with consciousness, or I'm sorry, not with consciousness, with technology, because consciousness hasn't evolved necessarily at the same rate as our technology. See, our spirituality or our consciousness has to evolve at the same rate or faster than technology. Otherwise, we can screw ourselves with it. All right. So what's the antidote? The antidote is self-love. And there is a direct correlation to how much you're willing to love yourself, to how much information you can get from the Akashic Records. So when I'm training my students on how to read the Akashic Records, first off, I give you the foundational aspects of how to do it, right? Because there are a lot of different ways to go into the Akashic Records. You need a reliable way that you know is going to get you into the records. So we start there. I teach you what my guides have taught me. Then once you learn how to go into the records, it's time to start reading your own records and understanding your own patterns that are operating subconsciously or below your awareness. And our default mode is this subconscious patterning. And we get programmed through parents, through environment. Actually, my mom is here right now. But yeah, she participated in some programming of me when I was a kid. I program my kids in ways. It's part of the human experience, and then we get to undo our programming along the way. Love your mama, everybody. Okay. But as we begin to undo our programming and we begin to see our patterning and see where we're operating out of trauma or hurt or playing small, and we start clearing that out, our vibrational frequency raises. We truly begin to love ourselves more. And when you can love yourself, that's when you can truly see that God energy, or that namaste, the light within me salutes the light within you. You're going to see that God force energy and truly love it in other people. And you're not going to want to harm yourself or others, okay? You're going to truly use this for the highest good of yourself and everyone connected to you. So the more you work on self-love, the higher and more revelation you will get from the Akashic Records. So that's how we want to talk about those layers of the Akashic Records. Samara, thank you so much for that question. Everybody, send some love-like hearts across the screen if you got some value out of that. And let's do an activation here that allows us to feel more self-love. Self-love can be really challenging for us to feel because it's been programmed out of us in a lot of ways, which makes us very susceptible to control mechanisms. So if you're ready to take some power back, give me a heart emoji in the comments. We're going to take our power back by learning to just love ourselves more and inviting ourselves to feel safe in the exploration of self-love. Okay, so we're going to work in the root chakra. If you want to place one hand on the root chakra, that's going to be low in your body and your belly. You might just want to sit on one hand right there. I'm just going to go ahead and sit on one hand, connecting with the root chakra there. Root chakra is at the base of your spine. It's red in color, and it controls the fluctuation of energy in your body around safety and security. It's connected to our survival. And that safety and security can be translated through physical, emotional, mental, financial aspects of our life. All right. So making contact with the root chakra, take a nice deep breath in. Exhaling with the sound, wah. Use a wah or any ah sound, releasing any density that you're hanging on to. And let's also work in the third eye with our other hand here. Third eye is the pineal gland. It's located between the two hemispheres of the brain. This is the seat of your psychic senses or your intuitive senses. Also will help you see what is unseen, opening up expanded vision. So this is going to help you see ways to love yourself. It's also going to help you see what is unseen in ways that you're not loving yourself right now. Okay, deep breath in. Exhale, flick all that energy off. All right, the guides are wanting to speak on what is unseen around how we love ourselves for just a moment, because there are a lot of acts of self-betrayal that we are participating in that definitely happen under the radar, that happen subconsciously. Right, so the guides just want to bring in some energy of grace and compassion. Imagine this is rain, like light, not light rain like a light drizzle, but like light, like flashing, beautiful, crystalline light, rain that is made of light. Okay, raining down through your field, clearing static that is in your field, and bringing in a transmission of grace as you begin to see the ways that you've in acts of self-betrayal. Oh, yikes. It's going to be a tough week, y'all. Get ready. No, that grace, no, we're good. We're good. The grace and gentleness, that's going to help us. All right. All right. Let's keep going here. Gloria says, how can I heal my relationship to my husband and let it go? I also see here Cassandra asking a twin flame relationship question. I feel guided to bring them both forward at the same time here. So Cassandra says, my twin flame, old a courtesy puppy, is coming on this year as my spiritual message partner. What is this relationship meant to serve? And when will Ruby's puppy be coming in the color and the breed of? Okay, that's a lot of questions there about, okay, actually not 100% the same questions here, Cassandra. It sounds like you're working with some animal energy and soulmate energy, where Gloria, you're working with soulmate energy in the human form. Okay, so I'm going to tap in here with Gloria first and see what the guides have to say about your relationship with your husband and letting it go. Okay, so what the guides are saying is that there is a desire of your soul to honor the positive aspects of this relationship, honor the things that you got out of it, the good times in the relationship. And there's a part of you, the wounded part of you, hasn't fully moved through the painful part yet. So you keep playing the painful part over and over and over again. But what your soul is really desiring to do is to honor the good part of it, which is going to help bring a lightness of being that's going to help with the forgiveness. And the guide said, you've worked on forgiveness. I do hear them saying forgiveness is self, forgiveness is self, forgiveness is self. So I don't know if that means that you have worked in that area too, and they're acknowledging it, or if they're inviting you to work on forgiveness for self as well. Because it feels like there is guilt ripple effects in this for you, Gloria. And bringing this energy into a place of love and light and happiness is where your soul wants to be to let go. And I see it's almost like you're standing on the edge of a river. It's like you've just walked through a forest and you're coming to the edge of a river here, and you've got balloons in your hand and you're wanting to let go of the balloons. But it feels like it wants to be a happy experience. Okay. Gloria, Gio, sorry. I got to peek down under there. Gio, let me know if this is resonating for you. And also, if you are receiving some insight about letting go and shifting relationships maybe that have been challenging for you, that you feel a bit stuck in, let me know. Let me know how this is landing. All right. The guides want to work with stuck emotion, stored emotion. So when the guides talked about the part of us that hasn't fully healed yet, that's energy that is stuck in the sacral chakras, the guides are saying. So sacral is in the womb area. This is yellow in color, and it's where we store unprocessed emotion. So we can only process so much at a time as humans, even less if we don't use our wisdom and skills like breath work and earthing and being in community and doing our shadow work. But we can only release so much at once. Furthermore, a lot of you are not only releasing for yourself, you're releasing for the collective. Anybody feel like sometimes the work of releasing and healing your shit is so big, it can't be just you? You're right. You're healing for the collective as well. All right, so yeah, we can only release so much at a time. And the stuff that doesn't get processed or released gets stored in the sacral chakra. This is our womb area. This is where our sexual energy, our creative energy, our life force energy, again, connected to our survival. The lower three chakras, root, sacral, and solar plexus, which is your personal power, that's all connected to your survival and your, I'm going to call it your boots on the ground experience as a human walking the planet during this incarnation. Make sense? Type yes in the comments if that makes sense. Lower three chakras govern our boots on the ground experience here as we are embodying, incarnating, and walking on the planet. They're connected to our survival. Root, safety, and security. Sacral is womb, creation, life force energy, also where we store unprocessed emotion. And then solar plexus, which is about 2 inches above your belly button. That one's yellow in color. That governs your personal power, your self-confidence, very much connected to your mission here on the planet. Okay. All right. So we want to work in the sacral right now. You can just lay hands on the sacral. Take some nice deep breaths again. Exhaling with a sound. Calling out, pulling out that unprocessed, unstored emotion, unprocessed, stored emotion, stored in there. Now it's unstored because we just got it all out, shoo it all out of there. Okay, so we've initiated the process of releasing this stored emotion. Your body is going to be giving you feedback now as this stored emotion comes out. You're going to feel the feelings. It's going to be important that you ask, let me say this. You're going to feel the feelings. If the feelings don't go away within 24 hours, like if you stay stuck in it, you're going to want to ask and do some deeper work. The feelings might just clear the energy and you're just like, I had a good cry, I feel better. That happens some of the time. Some of the time your body's going to begin to give you feedback about what you need to pay attention to. Here's what you need to know about those times when your body's giving you feedback, the emotions sticking around a little bit longer. You're not feeling as clear and fresh, as fast as you want to. There's still lesson for you to learn, karmic lesson for you to learn in whatever the emotion is or the trauma is that you're holding. So the reason that we experience challenge, trauma, shit in this life, it's part of the construct that helps us to grow and learn and evolve. It gives us great data, great feedback. And if you don't learn all of the lessons that are designed for you as you're going through a particular situation, okay? One right now that we see all over the place, narcissistic relationships. You keep attracting narcissistic relationships. I say attracting because if you're in them because you're being attracted to them. You got to take responsibility. It can't keep being the other guy's fault. Hang on, I got one piece of hair that's stuck in an eyelash here. Oh, got it. Okay. I talked about this in the beginning of the broadcast, taking personal responsibility for things. All right. As challenging as it is, when we are ill or we have dis-ease in our body, it can be very easy to feel victim to that. The higher truth is you have chosen and created that circumstance within your body. But that's good once you accept that, because then you get to choose something differently. Then it's within your power to choose differently, to think differently. Right? This is why it's so important that we step back into our power. And as we've released energy now that has been stored within you, if there are lessons that you didn't fully get, your body's going to be giving you that feedback. This is where the Akashic Records can be really valuable, so you can get the lessons, right? If you need my help with that, please reach out to me. I'm going to leave you all a link to, if you're watching on StreamYard, I just popped the link to the self-study Akashic Record training, where you can learn how to read your own Akashic Records so that you can ask these questions. You can understand why you created dis-ease. You can understand what your mission is here on the planet. This is created in a way that anyone can do it. If you are joining on Instagram, you're going to want to look for that link. Not right now, because we still got a few more minutes left. Not right now. But as soon as we're done here with the broadcast, check the link, the Linktree link, and you'll find the link to the self-study program. All right, so Cassandra, twin flames that show up for us in animal form, and definitely as spiritual messengers. I feel like the guides want to talk about that right now. Okay. This is really beautiful. The guides are saying that this is happening more and more here on the planet, and it's actually a better way for humans to experience the twin flame energy than through human on human contact. Because guys, so many of us think that we want that relationship that is the twin flame, it is not like The Notebook, y'all. It is not the way Hollywood has romanticized and conditioned us to think of what relationships are. That's done us a drastic disservice anyway. And I love Cassandra's question here, because it is illuminating a conversation about animals and the importance of our animal friends, how they can help and support us here on the planet right now. And I'm seeing a lot of animal soulmate twin flame relationships coming about. Yep. That's almost more of a download than I can bring in for you, but I do want to, that's a collective view. But I do want to send through a transmission that's going to open up our field of awareness to understand the animal community differently. And for those of you who are, I have a feeling a lot of you, by the way, are participating in this animal twin flame experiment here on the planet. So I just want to send through a transmission that's going to help up-level our sensitivity and connection to the animal realm. Take nice deep breaths. If you want to receive this, just type yes. The guys are doing a density clearing and collective program clearing through the crystalline tube of light and through we're working on the DNA here to clear that so that you can have a more profound and magical and awe-worthy experience with our animal friends. Woo, my crown is buzzing on that one. That's a fun one. You don't work with the animals a whole lot like that. Yes, you guys digging that? Awesome. Okay, we're gonna rock right up till the bell here, guys, and I'm gonna keep going. Al, hello. Al says, I am anticipating a huge biz transaction coming soon. Will it be realized? Okay, excellent. My question is, Al, do you want it to be realized? It sounds like that's a yes. So when we're tapping in and we're feeling something as possible, we're tapping into the frequency of that timeline. If you're tapping into it, you're not making it up. We don't actually have the ability to make things up totally from scratch. I talked about the pineal gland, the third eye. Its job is to send and receive signals. So we're sending impulses through our imagination, our thoughts, our energy. We're sending things out into the field. We're also receiving things back into our mind. That's how your imagination is working. It's this process of sending and receiving signals. So we're actually creating in every moment. And if you're tapping into a timeline that has potentiality, what the guides are saying is, Al, I want you to understand this. So there's infinite possibility here with this field that we're communicating back and forth with our imagination. We're sending out signals, thoughts, emotions. We're creating feedback loops, and we're getting ideas back. All right. So when we do this is how all humans play with the etheric field of consciousness that creates our reality. Whether you realize you're doing it or not, whether you call it something different or not, this is what we all doing. Okay. This is how we create. Now, this field of infinite possibility will begin to interact with us based on what we're sending out. So we think of infinite possibility. The more we think about something, the vibrational frequency of that possibility increases until it becomes a probability. So I'm acting this out with my hands here. We're like in the outer ring of infinite possibility. The more you think about it, the more it vibrates, it gets closer to you, you densify it, right? You're putting energy into it. And the more you continue to do that, that energy moves from possibility to probability and moving into your reality. And our future always exists in infinite possibility until we've experienced it. And then here's a weird thing that it's interesting to wrap my head around. Sometimes I get it better than other times, but our past actually exists in infinite possibility as well. So if you ever lose something, you can teleport that object by adjusting your memory of losing it, and then the object quantumly teleports to meet back up with you in a different timeline. Really interesting. Don't have time to fully go into that, but these are some of the interesting methodologies that I've learned through my own study in the Akashic Records. Okay? All right, but back to Al's question here about that feeling of anticipating the business transaction. You're anticipating it because you've spent enough time and energy consecrating this timeline, and it's getting close to you. Now, until it actually happens, infinite possibility is still, there's still wiggle room in what can happen. So we want to recognize that we can influence the field, and we do continue to influence the field right up until the moment that we've experienced it. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to stay in this constant state of sending it out, manifesting, saying the mantras, right? Ideally, if we can say it once and then learn to hold the vibrational frequency, that's how we want to approach the influencing of the future. You know what it is that you want, Al. You've seen it. You've felt it. Your job now is to hold the vibrational frequency of it. And I do think, at least my experience is, the closer something gets to you, the more challenging it can be to hold the vibrational experience of the knowingness that this will come to pass. That's what it looks like. It's harder. More fears come up. You second guess yourself more. That's why in those moments where we're getting close, if you can implement a constant course correction or a more consistent course correction, which just means check in with your damn self more often and see where you're at. Is my body tense? Do I feel fear or anxiety that this will not materialize? Okay, let me move myself back into a state of peace. Another challenge that happens is we're getting close to the finish line, and I realize we've gone over just a little bit, but this is worth it. Okay, Al, another challenge that all of us experience when we get close to the finish line of a manifestation coming into being is, hang on, I talked about the fear. Is that the monkey mind will attempt to gather circumstantial evidence of our past experiences that corroborate. I think I said that word correctly. Our fears will validate. I can use that word correctly in a sentence, will validate our fears. And that happens more intensely at the end. So you want to be mindful of that. And remember that the quantum field of creation doesn't give a shit about the past circumstantial evidence. The human does. It matters in the human 3D space. It can be really scary and challenging. But in the quantum field, the only way that weighs in, because the quantum field doesn't care, the only way that it weighs in is if you are staying in those repetitive thought forms that say you can't or not good enough or won't or it didn't happen before or XYZ. Cool? All right, so we're going to do one more activation here. I'm going to clear the energy around the mind so that those old thought forms of circumstantial evidence do not have nearly as much control over you. If you want this one, say yes in the comments. This is going to help you break through previous limitations in your life, areas where you previously played small or felt held back or fell into self-sabotage mechanisms. This is going to clear that for you. Awesome. All right. If you had some fun here today, give me one last round of applause. Love like hearts across the screen, which is really blowing up our algorithm so that social media pushes this out there. Please share if this has been valuable to you. And of course, if you're ready to learn how to read your Akashic Records, reach out to me. If this is something that is appearing in your field, it means that you've done enough work that you're ready for the big leagues. All right. And if you've enjoyed hanging out here and you want to learn more from me about how I use the Akashic Records, reach out to me and let me know. All right. I love you guys, and I'll see you back here next week.